In our roundup circle this morning, where the practitioners get together, we each make an intention. My intention was to be on time. I apparently have already messed it up. Good morning. Welcome to the Eureka Center for Spiritual Living. I was asked to remind everybody, good Lord, this looks like a press conference up here. Yeah. Oh, no, not a job I want. Anyway, I was asked to remind everybody, please shut off or put on silent or whatever the heck it is you do with your cell phones so they don't go off in the middle of the service or any other time. And also, let me say this is a welcome back Sunday because everybody seems to be healthy again. And Angelica, welcome back especially to you. So glad to have you here. I have this vision of singing, our minister's back and we're going to be in trouble, but I won't do that. Okay, I've also been asked, let me just move on with all of this. We'll get this rolling here, see what we have. First of all, we are going to welcome home. Nice to have everybody here. We will first acknowledge the lands on which we are located. The Eureka Center for Spiritual Living acknowledges that the land on which we gather is the ancestral territory of the Wiyot peoples. This territory extends to the communities through most of Humboldt County, and we honor the Wiyot peoples today. So, here we go. Together, I like to shake this up, as you well know. So we're going to read the top affirmation together, and then the bottom, we're just going to turn to somebody else and say, I wish you a day of joy, love, and beauty. And say it like you mean it. I wish you a day of joy, love, and beauty when we get to the second half. Okay, so together we all say, we are a welcoming community where the vibration of love lifts us, the wisdom of the ages inspires us, and the science of mind teaching empowers us. And I wish for you a day of love, joy, and beauty. I also want to wish to everybody who celebrates Happy Easter. And today, in 2009, March 31st was declared. It's not something that was set up this year, but in 2009, March 31st every year, just happens to fall on Easter today, was declared the Transgender Day of Visibility. That is a day dedicated to celebrating transgender people and raising awareness of the discrimination, unfortunately, that is faced by them, as well as a celebration of their contributions worldwide. I am celebrating. Ta-da. Yeah. So there's my big cry out for that to help support it. Okay, let's take a look at what else. Oh, and I also wanted to say, because today is Easter, we have a basket of eggs. How eggs became associated with a rabbit, no one knows, and I imagine somebody does. But they are also, what was that?
The Immaculate Conception.
The rabbits, I don't think, are known for Immaculate Conception. Yes, exactly. Every egg has an affirmation in it. Every affirmation is unique. The egg you draw is being sent to you for you. The practitioners all wrote affirmations, and so sometime today, before you leave, grab an egg, open it up, and see what your affirmation says for you. Okay, let's take a look at our weekly schedule. Thank you for getting that up there ahead of me. This is the beginning of the 4 agreements class. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Everything else you can see is up there, but let's talk a little bit about the 4 agreements, which was a really powerful book. I remember reading it years and years ago. You can see the 4 agreements on the right side. So if you read those 4 agreements, you don't need to take the class. It's all done for you. You've got That said, $20 per class. Angelica, did you want to mention anything?
There's a sign-up sheet over there.
There is a sign-up sheet. Did you want to say anything about it, or just as it is?
It's going to be really good.
Okay. It's going to be really good as opposed to everything else we do, which is also really good. All right. Better Together. That is our social club. The Sequoia Park Zoo every year does Party for the Planet. This year it's April 13th, and the Better Together group is going together to see the Party for the Planet and make it better. So if you are interested in going, is there a sign-up sheet for that, or just show up?
It's out on the table.
Want me to go get it?
We can get it at another point, but that's fine. Thank you, Donna. So sign up for the Better Together group Party for the Planet. Also, two Saturdays from now, we will take some time to honor Les Craig, one of our practitioners, a dear friend to so many of us. Edward, myself, and I went through practitioner training with her. The three of us became very close, as a lot of people did with Les. Miss her every single day. Glad she's still here in spirit, and we will get to celebrate that spirit on April 13th. Twice Nice Sale is our biggest sale of the year. It raises a lot of money for the center. We need money to function. You can help by bringing things to be sold at the Twice Nice Sale, or even more so by volunteering. Anna is our volunteer coordinator, I believe. Did you need to say something about this?
Tell your friends to save their stuff, and we have trucks, I have a truck. Just spread the word so we can fill that basement up.
So Anna asked, and first of all, welcome Zoomers. I'm sorry if I didn't say hi. We're so glad to have you here. But Anna had said, save your stuff, bring your stuff, and I'm hearing impaired, as most people know.
Tell your friends.
No, but the thing was, you said, bring your trucks.
I have a truck.
I heard, bring your drugs. So if your hearing is like mine, the word was trucks, not drugs, which would be a bumper sticker someday. Trucks, not drugs. All right. Anyway, that's coming in June. Big deal. We need a lot of help. Our bookstore, all books by Louise Hay and Alan Cohen are on sale at 25% off. If you would like to pick up any of the books in the other room, please find, I think it's Michelle. Is that right, Michelle, wherever you are? There she is, over at the High Watch. Somebody referred to that once. A new member or somebody who was here for the first time came up to me and said, why does that person get to sit in a throne? So Her Highness will help you with the bookstore if you need any help. And our little pantry, we need food for the little pantry. This goes really quickly. We serve a lot of people in this area. If there is non-perishable food that you would like to provide, please bring it. And oh yes, Lori.
No canned meats except 1 can of tuna, I think. So
We have no canned meat except for 1 can of tuna. Okay, so canned meat products would be good. Pop top tops make it even better because it makes it easier to open. But anything that's non-perishable, please no ramen. We have enough ramen to feed most of the Western Hemisphere right now. So let's move forward. Our theme for this month, for the last time, because it is the last day of March, our theme is rebirth, and our moment of peace today will be led by my brother from another mother. Edward is going to come up and lead the moment of peace, and then we have a special speaker today, our very own Karen Blakely. So Edward, it's all up to you.
Thank you, my twin.
Your E is backwards.
Oh, my E. Oh,
Your E is backwards.
so am I. Most of the time. To answer my brother's question, happy Ishtar Day. In English, we call it Easter, but it's actually the celebration of the goddess Ishtar. And it goes all the way back to the Romans. Jesus, unfortunately, had nothing to do with this holiday. It was added in at the Council of Nicaea in Turkey by Constantine the Great and some of the popes. But this is a celebration of fertility, because Ishtar was the goddess of fertility and rebirth, and it's basically a celebration of femininity. So this holiday is a celebration for all of the women. And, I love that. That's why we have the eggs and the bunny. Eggs and bunny rabbits are symbols of fertility. And we still have that to this day. Chapter 6 is what I'm going to read a little bit from this thing called You by Ernest Holmes. who is our founder and a very, very, very intelligent, wise man. And for those that are on Zoom that are joining us for the first time, I read a little bit. We have a moment of silence, and our silver-tongued maestro over here, Jackson, sings us into a meditative prayer and then sings us back into the introduction of our speaker for today. Okay, so chapter 6 of this thing called you. Spirit withholds nothing from you. To believe that God refuses the good you desire is to deny the goodness of God. It is a refusal to accept the profound conclusion of the one who said, "It is done unto you as you believe." Often, you may find that even though you start with an enthusiastic conviction, you become stranded on a rock of unbelief. Refuse to let this discourage you. The law still is that it is done unto you as you believe. No matter how subtle the thoughts of lack, fear, uncertainty, or loneliness may be, they do not, and I repeat, they do not belong to you. Your affirmation can erase them. Become master of your thinking, hence, master of your fate.
You are the light of love. I am the light of love. You are the light. I am the light. We are the light.
Blessed and sacred day, this day of Sunday, this day that we celebrate all creation. We celebrate femininity. We celebrate even our male counterparts, our feminine aspects. We celebrate the light and the return of wisdom and love. We celebrate our chance to make this a better creation, because this is in fact the dawning, as I've said before, of the age of Aquarius. And Aquarius is the time when the sun shall shine in, a time of great enlightenment, a time of rebirth of the mind and the spirit. As we think, so must it be. We are manifestations of the only and most powerful force there is. And that is the force that some of us call God, some of us call spirit, or whatever it's called. It is the material, the fabric of the universe. It is what runs through us. It is what operates as us. And it is all that we are, even though we are individualized manifestations of that being. And I am so grateful, so thankful for this life, for this center, for this knowledge, for all who bring wisdom into this hall and share it with the world. I am so grateful for our speakers today, our ministers, our practitioners, and above all, I am so grateful for you, all of you who listen to this broadcast or who are here in person or here on Zoom, because you are my brothers and sisters. We are one. We are all connected. And as I put this into the laws of the universe, I know that it is unnecessary to do so because it is what it is. It is so. It is the truth. And so it is.
You are the light of peace. I am the light of peace. You are the light. I am the light. We are the light of peace.
Thank you, Jackson. And it's my privilege, my honor, and my pleasure to bring up at this moment one of the most inspirational people that I know of in this center, and my sister in love, our associate minister, or our minister in practice, Miss Karen Blakely.
Wow, look at that. I got a raise while I was walking up here. I just love that. Well, it is wonderful, as always, to just feel the energy that is in this room and see all of your beloved faces. I'm going to maybe rearrange things a little bit here. Maybe we'll try that. There's a lot of microphones up here today. I'm feeling a little overwhelmed.
The one in the middle is the most important for us.
Right? I know, Annie. Anna. So today we are wrapping up our monthly theme of rebirth, as we begin to look forward into embracing the new, which is the title of my talk today. This time of year, I just love all the spring that starts to grow forth. We literally have days that become, at spring equinox, it's equal between day or night. And then we move into that time of year when the days are actually longer. And so we have more hours of light. And everything just feels just alive and growing again after that winter into the spring. And there are a lot of significant holidays that happen this time of year, and they have a few elements in common. And so I just want to recap a couple of those for us today. Of course, today is Easter, and so happy Easter to those of you who celebrate Easter. As you may know, this is the Christian holiday that celebrates the resurrection of Jesus, their Christ and Savior, who rose from the dead after 3 days in the tomb. The beginning of this month, we talked about Ramadan, where Muslims participate in fasting as a spiritual practice used to bring themselves into alignment with the divine and also to wash away sins. And Reverend Angelica invited us to fast from judgment and complaining. I found that can be a little bit harder than I thought. Next is Ostera, which is a pagan holiday that honors the goddess of the dawn. This is a time of ritual cleaning and renewal and sweeping away of old patterns. It always occurs right at spring equinox, which we just said was the day where darkness and light are imbalanced, and from which we move into the period where there are more hours of light than darkness in each day. We also, just last week, had Holi, which is the festival of colors, traditionally celebrated by Hindus. It is the end of winter, the celebration of the end of winter and the beginning of spring. It's a celebration of rebirth and new beginnings, and a time to let the negative melt and fall away. And next month, we'll also experience Passover, which is a religious holiday and a time to remember the liberation of the Jewish people from slavery in Egypt. It is also where we see in the Hebrew Bible the story about the parting of the Red Sea. And we're going to get back to that in just a minute. So as you can see, kind of woven through each of these holidays is the theme of new beginnings. And while not every holiday has the same rituals and symbols, I thought that in honor of Easter, we would look at a few of these symbols through a metaphysical lens. So specifically, we're going to look at bunnies, flowers, and eggs. So first, we're going to start out with bunnies. And bunnies are obviously have been for a long time associated with fertility. Now, I know we could have a lot of fun with that one. But we're going to turn our attention to that metaphysical lens that's the association with birthing a new life, a new way of seeing and being in the world. Bunnies are amazing manifestors. Did you know that each litter contains between 5 and 12 rabbits? And they can have 3 to 4 litters in a single season. And so that's like 15 to up to 48, almost 50 bunnies. Now, if we twist that around a little bit and we think about each bunny as a manifestation, then we're like little mental bunnies, fertilizing that rich soil of our thought and giving rise to something new all of the time. So that we can be that place and space of mental fertility, bringing forth and manifesting new in our life. Our founder, Ernest Holmes, in the book, The New Design for Living, and if you haven't read this one yet, check and see if we have it in the bookstore, because this is one of my favorite books by Ernest Holmes. He says, "We are, in a certain sense, like an artist, setting up our canvas to paint a new scene. The basic colors and pigments, the canvas and easel, and even the brushes will be the ones we used yesterday. But who knows what new picture will be precipitated upon the canvas through our creative imagination? Who knows what new inspiration will flow through us to accomplish something new and different?" He goes on to say, "Thus, every moment is a fresh starting point, unconditioned by anything that has ever existed, something being born here and now." What's stopping you from stepping into the canvas of your best life and embracing the new right now? I know as we think about this, the one thing that always comes up is our old friend, fear. When you step into the unknown, we have to also have that ability to throw ourselves with wild abandon into the arms of the divine and trust that something wonderful is unfolding, even when we can't see it, especially when we can't see it. Because life is not a paint-by-numbers game here. We just get those raw materials, and then we have to trust Spirit knows how to mix those colors together, that Spirit has a plan, even when we can't see it. And if you can't see it for yourself, I'd invite you to pray with a practitioner or allow a minister to mentor you so that you can have faith in our faith until you can embody it. You know, when I worked as a nurse in the hospital, I worked in the children's hospital, primarily with children with cancer. And I had a family one day, ask me if they could have the chaplain come to visit them, and they wanted the chaplain to pray for them. And of course, the chaplain said, of course I would. And what religion are you? I want to make sure I honor your religion. And they said, oh, no, we're not religious. And he said, well, if you're not religious, why do you want me to pray? And I said, oh, because we know that you believe. And so we can have faith in your faith, that will help our child as they go down for surgery today. And so I'd invite you to do the same thing. Sometimes we can be so close to something that we're in it, that our humanness just gets in the way and we can't see that divine pattern and truth beyond it. And that's when you can lean in. We're in this beautiful community together. We need to hold each other on this journey. Next, we're going to talk about flowers. Specifically, I want to look at lilies, daffodils, and tulips. Lilies are often symbols for mothers, motherhood, goddesses, purity, rebirth, washing clean of sin, and new beginnings. I think that our lives are really like a series of new beginnings. And there seems to be a pattern to this cycle. So much so that Joseph Campbell actually named it the hero or heroine's journey. And so on this journey, you're kind of hanging out, you're doing your thing, you're in your comfort zone, and something calls you to something greater. Often we try to ignore that voice because we know it's going to change things. But if you answer that call, then you go out on this journey. And you're going to have some things to overcome, and things start to change, and you meet people along the way that really help you. And eventually, that old starts to fall away, and something new begins to come in. And this is often the period that Joseph Campbell calls death and rebirth. And for me, it's really what the message of Easter is all about. That dying and letting go of the old self and all of the labels that were slapped on us that we didn't choose, and really allowing to rise up within us the spiritual truth of who and whose we are, of that magnificence that is the very truth of us, to claim our light so that then we can share it with the world. Daffodils are used as a symbol of happiness and sunshine, as well as hope and resilience. Resilience is defined as the ability to cope and recover from things that happen in our lives. As my beloved Mitch has reminded me, shift happens. So if we're going to take this journey of life, there's going to be rebirth and transformation along the way. And we're definitely going to need a little resilience. We talked about a lot of the images the first week of this month that call us into spring, and one of them was the caterpillar. And I just love the little caterpillar for this image of rebirth and transformation. It's trucking along on his little branch. He's just doing his thing, and he's like, oh, that looks really good over there. I think I'm going to step over here and eat some greens over here. And so eating the greens, and it's trucking along, and then boom, all of a sudden, it finds itself in the chrysalis, in that cocooned space. Metaphysically, this could be considered the dark night of the soul. And we know that often accompanies major change in our lives. And for the caterpillar, while it's in that dark space, it literally becomes liquefied and changes. Old patterns have no choice but to fall away. And so in this new beginning, the caterpillar starts to realize it has new muscles. And so it's flexing these new muscles and emerges eventually from that chrysalis, only to discover that it has become a beautiful butterfly. Now, what's really fascinating about this story is the butterfly was who the caterpillar was all along. It didn't have to get rid of anything or add anything. It didn't have to wait till it had enough money or it was a specific age. Those cells, that divine pattern lived within it all of the time. And the same is true for us. There is a divine pattern in each one of us that is who we have always been if we are only willing to surrender and have faith and trust that process. Tulips are known for forgiveness, faith, and passion. Both daffodils and tulips are considered spring bulb flowers. That means that we plant them in the fall and they spend the winter in the ground and then they flower in the spring. Well, when I first got here to Eureka, I wanted to have more flowers. And so Lori, who's sitting back there in the corner, hey Lori, gave me a couple of plants. And in one of the pots were some tulips and daffodils. And I watched it very intently and I'm like, it's still just dirt. And then I started to see some green popping out, and it's doing this beautiful, the creative spin that nature just does naturally. And I was so excited. And we were still really in winter, and it was cold, and I had talked to Lori, and I said, well, I brought my pot in because I didn't want it to get frostbite. I didn't want it to get too cold. And she says, no, you've got to leave those outside. They actually need the cold in order to grow. And I thought, wow. This is a great metaphor for our lives. How often do we have an intention and we're just in that space and we feel like nothing is happening, nothing's going our way. And even when you feel like you're doing everything right, there's just dirt. And we can enter into that winter season of our life where we're really required to have faith that we know something new is springing forth. And perhaps this is just the time when we're putting our roots down, forming that stable foundation from which to bloom forth. That as we keep reaffirming what we know, perhaps we're just taking the time that's necessary to allow us to grow and then have the courage to take that next step in sharing our gifts with the world. Last week, Scott spoke about vulnerability, and I'm going to paraphrase Brené Brown and say, vulnerability is the new sexy. I would add to this that it also takes faith and courage to reimagine ourselves, to embrace that new and really have transformation in our lives. And remember how I said we were going to circle back to the parting of the Red Sea? This is actually my favorite Bible story. Because you see, the Red Sea didn't part until their feet got wet. And I think this is so important to remember because it's only when we're able to look through the appearances and the obstacles and drop the old story and trust no matter what so completely that you're willing to get your feet wet, that you step in, and then the universe has no choice but to part the sea for us. The Metaphysical Bible Dictionary says the Red Sea represents the sum of all thoughts about life with which the race has impregnated in the universal ether or thought. That the Red Sea is race consciousness itself. And that this is what has to be overcome by the progressive soul. So in other words, we have to step out of that tiny tomb of race consciousness and roll away the stone of limitation in our lives so that we can live our highest and best life. Last but not least, I want to talk about eggs. We have a basket full of them today. I hope you'll all take one on your way out. Eggs are often a symbol for new life and transformation. Anybody ever heard somebody say, wow, they're really coming out of their shell? Yeah? What they're really saying is that they've left that shell of limitation behind, breaking free of that darkness of the tomb and embraced that new transformation, have really come into their own where they're now comfortable in their own skin. That doesn't happen if we choose to play small. Just like birds, we can't learn to fly while still holding on to a branch. We have to venture out of our metaphorical nest and start to spread our wings before we can realize that we were always meant to fly. We are that divine spark that divine spark. We don't have to search for it. It lives within us. Eggs are also represent the metamorphosis from one state to another. Just like our friend we talked about, the caterpillar becoming the butterfly, we are becoming what we have always meant to be. That pattern of perfection lives within each one of us. I find it interesting that one of the common traditions at Easter is to hide plastic eggs filled with candy or little gifts or affirmations, and then look for them. It's as even though that the race doesn't know it, we're searching for our new. We're searching for that egg that can then be broken open to see the beauty that is inside, just like it's inside each one of us. And so as you celebrate this Easter, ask yourself where you are being called to something new. What is awakening within you? Are you ready to embrace the new and step into your new beginning? That might look like a career move or a move into retirement. Maybe you're ready to write that book you've been dreaming about, or to start dating after a loss or a breakup. For me, it looks like trusting Spirit to guide me as I leave behind this beautiful community and embrace a new life with my beloved Mitch in Grass Valley. Yeah. Thank you. The walk isn't easy. It takes courage and resilience. And I definitely feel vulnerable. But I also know that Spirit has a plan for this new beginning. And so let's embrace our new beginnings together, supporting one another on this journey that we call life. And so I want to close with a poem that I found that I felt was absolutely perfect for today. It's called For a New Beginning by John O'Donohue. In out-of-the-way places of the heart, where your thoughts never think to wander, this beginning has been quietly forming, waiting until you were ready to emerge. For a long time, it has watched your desire, feeling the emptiness grow inside of you, noticing how you willed yourself on, still unable to leave what you had outgrown. It watched you play with seduction of safety, and the gray promises that sameness whispered, heard the waves of turmoil rise and relent, wondered, would you always live like this? Then the delight, when your courage kindled and out you stepped onto new ground, your eyes young again with energy and dreams, a path of plenitude opening before you. Though your destination is not yet clear, you can trust the promise of this opening. Unfurl yourself into the grace of beginning that is at one with your life's desire. Awaken your spirit to adventure. Hold nothing back. Learn to find ease and risk. Soon you will be at home in a new rhythm, for your soul senses the world that awaits for you. Thank you. Thank you, baby. And so let's go ahead and look at our affirmation for today. In knowing there is only the now, and the past and future are only navigational tools for our humanity, I know that anything I do at any given moment sends ripples of change throughout all of creation that must be acted upon by the law of God. I choose to be committed to forgiveness, love, and peace for the world and our entire universe. All right, and let's go ahead and take this into spiritual mind treatment, which is our form of affirmative prayer. And so we just take a breath. Just breathing in the beautiful light and love of this perfect day. For what we know is true is that there is only one present, one power, This light, this love is God, and it is good. And what I know is true is that we are one with this, that right where we are, God is. That every cell and fiber of our body is vibrating and alive with God's stuff. For this is the very truth of who and whose we are. And so we celebrate the spring holidays this month and this day, knowing that something new is birthing forth in us right now. And so I just declare that each one of us is filled with that courage, that resilience, the strength to trust the process and step in. For what I know that I know that I know is that Spirit has absolutely got us. Because there is no way that it could not. Because we are what it is. Tiny drops in that ocean of goodness, of Godness. And so I just celebrate. I celebrate with each one of you, knowing that something amazing is happening right here and right now. And I am so grateful to witness, to walk this journey with each one of you and see that good blooming forth in the spring of your life. And so I simply cast these words forth into the law. I let them go and let them be, knowing that sweet Spirit always whispers, yes, beloved ones, yes, yes, yes. And we affirm and know this together by saying together, and so it is. And now I think we have the choir, yes? All right.
Choir, please come forward. Well, it's been an interesting time for choir this year. We started out as 12, and we have dwindled.
And then flooded.
Can you click on one of these?
So I'm so grateful for the choir members who've been able to come back from our little hiccup, and we were 12 strong, and now we're exactly the perfect number. So. And I would like to acknowledge that song was written by our own Jackson Eldridge. Thank you, sir.
Okay, as we get to the final portion of our service for today, we will do our sharing of our gifts. We need a couple of people who are willing to, we've got a couple of people who are willing to do that. Pass the plate. Please put in the plate what you can. Always include love, even if you can't put in any cash. That's also fine. And then we will say our offering affirmation together. I gratefully give from the fullness of my abundance, knowing my gift blesses this center, all in it and beyond. And so it is. I am grateful for the knowledge that I accept that there is only one. Any belief in separation is merely an illusion. We are all connected, we are all one, we are all together. There is only one energy that flows in, around, through, and is us. And knowing that these gifts that come through, in, and around from us are going into the community to create a better community, a better city, a better state, a better country, and a better world, especially on a day like today. I give abundant thanks, and I say with joy, as I release these into the law of mind, knowing that they are already happening, and so it is. Thank you. All right, as we get to the end here, we have a couple of reminders. First of all, if you would like to meet as per Karen's comment, which is always the case. Karen, we're going to so miss you. You know, I didn't applaud because... I didn't applaud because I don't want to applaud that you're leaving. So I'm sure you'll fill us in as more goes along. And congratulations to the two of you. Okay, that out of the way, practitioners are here to talk with you per Karen's comments. If you would like to meet with a practitioner, know a little bit about the philosophy, just share, ask questions, you need some support, we are here. Just hit us up at the end of the service. Practitioners who are here today are obviously Karen, myself, Edward, Michelle, and I think that's it. I don't see Susan here today. So just find us. We'll be glad to give you some time. Next week is the first week of the month, which means not only is it a new theme, but it is also the Potluck Sunday. So bring what you would like. We also celebrate all the birthdays for April. That'll take place next week. And before we get to our community statement of inclusion, we do demonstrations. So we have time for a demonstration or two. Oh goodness, look at the eagerness. So a demonstration for people who are new to us is the way the philosophy works is you envision it, you bring it within, you feel it, and you manifest it, and the demonstration is what has been manifested. So let's start. We'll start with Anna, and then we'll go to Jackson. Today will be musical demonstrations, apparently.
I missed the day when everybody got COVID
You're lucky.
because I had a real nasty cold, and it wasn't COVID. And then I was still recovering and missed the Crafternoon Day, which was the second spreading. And while I was miserable, thinking how miserable I was really being guided away from something I really dread, which I do not want to get COVID. So I'm extremely grateful for that little dark night of the cocoon so I could come out and fly.
That might be the first demonstration I've heard somebody who's glad that they were sick, but we understand. Jackson, please.
I had been thinking that maybe this was the year that I wanted to get a new car. Well, after a brief illness, my beloved 94 Buick Century that I'd had for 23 years died Monday. And my mechanic says, you need a new car. So Monday afternoon, I set an intention and I set a treatment for the process of buying a new car going quickly and easily. Tuesday, I had called a used car lot, well, Roy's, and the salesman said, I'll come pick you up and show you some cars. Well, he came and picked me up, and I looked at two cars. First was a Mini Cooper, and the second one was a 2012 Honda Accord. The Honda Accord was more in my price range, and the process of buying it went very quickly, very smoothly, and without any headaches at all. And so I have my new car.
A 1994 Buick with original tires. Okay. I think that's it. Yes, please. You want to come up? Please do. We are running early, so take all the time you'd like.
I've always struggled with like my self-esteem and like telling myself that I'm like good enough. I don't know why, but influences, I guess. And but I think I've been coming here for like almost 2 years now, I think. And I've been doing a lot of like meditating and like drinking herbal tea with no sugar and just like trying to better myself. And I think coming here has really helped my self-esteem.
Oh, my goodness. Well, since we got time, what the heck? Let's line them up and demonstrate. We'll go with Lyndon and then James.
Everybody, I just want to say thank you for all your support all the time. Everybody that is ever supporting, which is obvious. If you're supporting yourself especially, you're doing your part. So good job, guys. Pat yourself on the back. All right. You know that was real. Thank you. And that self-esteem stuff is really important. I feel that I've been lacking, honestly. Like, I know I'm loud and on the spot sometimes, but really I know I can do so much better, and it's because of you guys that I sometimes honestly know that I can pull myself. And I'm thankful for all you. Happy Easter. Love you.
And doing his best impression of a 1950s Southern lawyer, James.
Carol and I, when we moved over here, we bought our house, and we just had enough money to just, get through. And so we've just been kind of getting through, and everything's been all right. But I did sell one car, and we just have one car now, and things like that. And we had an accountant who took care of our business and all our money and everything. And we became very good friends with her. She lived in Sausalito, and we used to go there every weekend and stay at her house. Well, she passed away. And the other day, we got a check for $20,000. And then this week, we got another check from the rest of it. It's enough money to pay for our house, to pay our house off. So Carol and I do not have to worry or think about money, because we will have enough with the Social Security and my credits, my unions. And it's like such a miracle, because we didn't know how we were going to quite make it. So we're so grateful and eternally grateful. Thank you guys for being here.
Wow. Oh, okay. Well, Carol, come on up. Oh, and then Mark? All right. What we're going to do after, we're just going to go right down the line.
Don't get me up here.
Okay. Carol, please.
Okay. So, a couple weeks ago, in the middle of the first week when we had COVID, I noticed we were running out of toilet paper and Kleenex. But how could we go to the store? We were both like down. So I thought, okay, so because of Lori, I've been getting the bamboo toilet paper from Target. So I ordered it. I ordered it online. But they said they weren't, it was like, this is about Wednesday. But they said they weren't going to get it here till the next Wednesday. Okay, so I went on for a day or two, and I thought, well, maybe we'll make it, you know? So I was like, okay. So I'm getting ready to, do my online order to Safeway where they can, bring it out to the car. And I thought, well, I think I'll be able to drive well enough, I hope, to get to Safeway in Fortuna. So I'm just getting ready to get online, and the doorbell rings, and the Target order arrived on Friday instead of next week. So I didn't have to drive. Yay.
All right, Mark, you're our last one.
Okay. A couple of Saturdays ago, Edward and Amy had their event, and I participated in the talent show. Now, to back it up a little bit, I have been I wake up in the middle of the night, and I wonder what time it is. There are several things I can do. I can get up and look in the living room and see what time it is, or turn on the lights in the living room to see what time it is. I could turn on my computer, which my cell phone is plugged into, but all those waste energy. I've been trying to think of a way I could find out what time it is without wasting all that energy. So when I participated in the talent show, Edward and Amy kindly gave me the answer to my prayers. Oh, you can't see it. It tells it tells you the time. Thank you.
And it is telling us it is time for our community statement of inclusion. So do we have somebody who will come up here and read the statement of inclusion, and then Donna will lead us in the closing song? Okay, Lori, it's all yours. Right here for you.
So glad I got to be here today.
Yeah.
I was going to be driving Judy down to Stanford for an appointment, and the only reason we were going to leave today was because her appointment was for 7:45 a.m. And she sent me a notice of the address of where we're going to go, and she said the appointment's at 12:30. And it's like, yay, we get to be here with everybody on Sunday. So I'm just really grateful to be here. It's been a wonderful day here. Okay, so community statement of inclusion. We, the Eureka Center for Spiritual Living, are a community that celebrates diversity, fosters inclusion, champions inner work, and creates space for brave, vulnerable conversations. We are a community that honors the unique emanation of God that each person embodies and advocates with people for human rights and dignity for all. We are a community that blesses each other, sees sacredness in all life, remain learners and listeners so that we may grow together, and understands that oneness is not sameness. We know our beloved community is revealed more fully when we love each other well. Give me a
She's attracted to my bird's nest. Please stand and join me in singing the peace song. I think Anna's my bird today. I saw that little action.